Hey everybody, it's me, Coach Rebecca, and today I am talking about a question that I got today from a gymnastics mom, and her athlete is a level 4 gymnast who is a super talented kiddo, very just like that straight A, sweet as can be, really hard worker, got a lot of, physical potential in the sport. And she just got the most devastating letter that she's not moving up to level 5 with her teammates. And so mom reached out to me and asked me kind of what do I do? And I figured I would bring that to all of you because I know she's not the only one in this situation. So this athlete was tumbling great. She was doing round off back handspring back tuck on the grass. She was doing it no problem on the floor until one day she was tumbling on the tumble track, did a round off, lost control, went flying and landed on her head. And this is a very common scenario. That's why there are mats everywhere, right? Because you sometimes fall on your head in gymnastics, and you take a spill or you watch somebody fall. It's very common. And obviously she's totally fine physically, but she started losing confidence on her tumbling. So she lost her back tuck, and then round off 2 back handsprings started to be hard. And so she worked her little butt off to try to get that back tuck back for evaluations so that she could move up with the team. And she got to the place where she could do it if a coach was standing there, but not spotting, but they didn't decide to move her up. And, from the coach's perspective, they look at it and go, hey, we want her to build confidence. We want her to have a great season. We don't want her to feel the pressure. So we're going to put her in a place where she can really do amazingly well while she up trains, and then it's a super easy transition to level 5 and 6 and 7. But all this little girl sees is, I'm not good enough, and I don't know what to do. So mom's watching, the tears pour down while she's reading this letter. The athlete doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want any advice, just wants to be left alone. Everything's fine. But mom's like, what do I do? Because now this athlete's like, I'm going to work so hard and I'm going to get my tumbling and I'm going to get on that team. But mom's thinking, probably not. It sounds like they've already made their decision. So she's like, how do I help? So what do I do as a mom? And it's hard because there are expectations, right? That she expects that if she just works harder, she'll get it. But so here's what not to do, and I'll tell you what I recommend. What not to do. Keep talking about it. Don't talk about the skill as much as you possibly can, right? If they bring it up to you, that's one thing. So that's why in Perform Happy, we pour so much training into the parents, because you've tried talking about it, right? You've tried motivating, you've tried giving suggestions, you've tried thinking back to when you were an athlete and what might have built your confidence. You've tried backing off, you've tried all these things, and it's not changing the situation. So don't talk about it, first of all, because if she's shutting down when you talk about it, then you are adding pressure, even though you're literally just trying to help. And I know you wouldn't love her any less if she never did the skill again, but you just want to help because you're like, oh my gosh, you are crying and you're going to be so disappointed and you just want to talk about it. That's the last thing that they want from you, is to talk about it. So you're off the hook on that. But here's what to do. And this comes straight out of my Peak Performance Parenting course, which is part of the Perform Happy membership. And it's the first thing that we have parents do just to set the foundation, whether your kid's struggling with fear or you just have an athlete that you are parenting. This still applies. Adolescents, they just want to feel understood. They don't want you to fix it. They don't want your help. They don't want you to even take the pain away. They just want to feel understood. They don't feel understood. They're out there and they don't even understand what's happening in their own brain. So they just want to feel like you are listening and you understand. And maybe what you need to understand is that they don't want your help, or they really don't want you to get involved in it. So that's the first thing. Don't talk about it, and just really think, okay, how can I get her to feel understood? I almost did it myself. What we typically do is, how do I get them to understand this will be okay, or get them to understand that they're good anyway? No, they want to feel understood. They don't care what you have to tell them, even if it's right. So one thing that's really important beyond that, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to try to understand your experience. I know that this mom in particular was like, I quit gymnastics out of fear, but I haven't told her that. And I don't want to put that on her. And I don't want her to be so sad that she gives up because she's so good at it. And I'm like, boy, do I understand. I also quit my sport because of fear. So you as a parent have to process your own baggage around your sport history, because it gets activated and aggravated when we watch our kids suffering in their sport. So we have this fear that they're going to experience the hard stuff that we experienced. Now I can look at my end of my sport, which was in beginning of level 7. And I can go, it was miserable and I quit because whatever. I can look at the story that way, or I can go, that was the starting point to my coaching career at age 15. And I loved coaching and I was born to coach. And I got to find that out at that point. So yes, my whole goal is to help kids not quit, but I can also look at my sport experience and go, it was just right. So the next key I'm going to touch on here, you want to be able to find neutral. And this is, again, stuff I go into in detail in peak performance parenting, but you want to find the neutral place where you won't love her any less. If she never moves up a level, never does that skill again, you will love her just the same. You'll love her like crazy because she's your kid and that's just all there is to it. But you want to really show that you are, and I had a parent tell me this the other day. She's like, my kid was doing back handsprings on a laser beam at home and then looks at me and goes, why are you not freaking out happy right now? Because the parent's like, don't freak out. We're just neutral. We're just all's well. Whether you're having a bad day, a good day, all's well. All's well. And I love you and I want to understand. And she's like, oh yeah, that's so amazing. But it's so important to not have these big emotional swings based on the outcomes of your kids' training, because then they start to equate good performance to being lovable. And that creates this major threat, which leads to mental blocks. It leads to performance anxiety because they feel like they have to perform well or they'll be less loved, which is terrifying to the adolescent brain that's getting ready to, leave the cave, so to speak. Okay, so you're finding neutral. You're not talking about it. You're processing your own stuff. And the best thing you can do, if they give you any words at all, is just to repeat those words back. So if she's saying, if her words are, I'm going to work so hard and I'm going to get moved up by the end of summer. And in your head, you're like, no, I don't think you are. You go, it sounds like you are ready to get in the gym and work so hard. I love how resilient you are. I love how determined you are. So you're praising their effort, their strategy. You're praising things that they have control over because they do not have control over whether or not they get moved up. Neither do you. So if you can repeat back what they're saying, then she feels heard. Instead of being like, well, don't get your hopes up. I don't want you to be disappointed. You're like, that's my hardworking girl. Now, we're not trying to set her up for this, big crash in 2 months when she doesn't get moved up, but why not be like, yeah, girl, get it. I'm so proud of, how resilient you are. And then when you watch her with her head hung in practice, because practice is rough, because confidence is low, she comes off the floor and you're like, that's my girl. You are pushing through so much right now because I know that decision, bonked your confidence. And I am so proud of how resilient you are and how courageous you are to get out there and keep trying, even though it's still a struggle. So you're just reflecting back the character that you see in your child because they feel like they've got nothing going for them in this moment. But you make sure that you show them, like, I don't care. I could care less about a tumbling pass. What I care about is you got bad news. You were sad. You didn't sleep well. You thought about it all day at school and you still showed up and you still worked your hardest. And I'm so proud of you. So again, you want them to feel understood, but you also want to, reflect that everything that's in their control, they're doing the best that they possibly can. Okay. Now I can't talk about this topic without bringing in, I'm going to just go ahead and call her my friend, Dr. Becky Kennedy. I don't actually personally know her at all, but I love her parenting strategy. She's a child psychologist and she talks about when kids go through hard things, The parent's job is not to fix it. And she gives this great metaphor of like if you think about a schoolyard, like we're at an elementary school and you look around and there's benches you can sit on, right? And in the schoolyard of life, there are benches that you can sit on. And there's an I got left out bench. There's a I didn't get moved up bench. There's an I got injured bench. And what we as parents tend to want to do is go, oh, don't sit there. Sit on my mom loves me and my mom's going to have a meeting and my mom's going to talk about this with the coach bench because we want to make you feel better. We don't want you on the sad bench. We want you on the happy bench. But what happens is if you let them sit on that bench, the I got left out bench becomes the I didn't get invited bench when they're older. The I didn't move up bench becomes the I didn't get into my dream school bench, or I didn't get the job I wanted bench. And then guess what? When they have the experience of I didn't get moved up, I was devastated. I thought my life was over. I showed up, worked hard anyway. I set a goal and reached it, even though it wasn't on my timeline. I won all season. I got my skills in time for move-ups, and I realized that even if things don't happen on my timeline, I can still feel really proud of myself. If they have that experience built into their brain, because experience changes the brain, then they go to that I didn't get into my dream school bench and go, I know that I can handle this. That I got injured bench becomes the unexpected life events happen bench, where you're like, this is so hard. And this is how life goes sometimes. And I know that I'll be able to get through it. The athletes I know who have had the most injuries are the most resilient people. And every single one of them I can think of, I'm like, I wish that was my kid. Because they're so resilient. They bounce back. They see the silver lining. They keep at it. It's so impressive. Okay, and then on the other side, there's the I won the state meet bench becomes the navigating getting a promotion graciously when your friend didn't bench. There's tricky stuff with everything. The I lost my confidence bench becomes the I'm scared and need to ask for help bench. But they get the lessons that they need to get from those benches. So instead of shushing them off the bench and onto something more palatable for us, you just sit with them on it. You just go sit next to them in that schoolyard and go, we are on the I didn't get moved up bench. And oof, I love you. You put your arm around them and you're just there. And you repeat back their words so they feel understood. And then you give them dinner. And you are the soft place to land. You are the easiest part of their day. Where, yes, they're on that bench that stinks, but they're there with you and you understand them. That's what they really need. So this is one thing that I got from Dr. Becky. Don't take their resilience from them. Don't take their resilience from them. This is an opportunity for her to learn that she bounces, that she doesn't break. And when you're with them in those tough feelings and you sit with them, but you don't try to change the bench or move them, you take the I want to prepare my child for tough times, not protect her approach. I want to prepare her by her knowing I am her rock, I'm always here, and life happens, and I can get through it. I am strong enough, I am tough enough. So think about all the times in her life she'll feel that way. How many times have you been on a bench you didn't like? And are you still here to tell the tale? Okay, so just remember, she's building experience and skills and familiarity and support for these future moments that get bigger and harder. So the more we clean their path, and get them on the nice bench when they're young, the harder and more painful it is when they're older. So we don't want to do that to them. Okay, so you listen, you accept this is hard, this is an opportunity, and that's why in the Perform Happy community, especially on the parent side, we are all about building a growth mindset. We are building the mindset that goes, where's the opportunity here? Where is there an opportunity to not just survive this, but to thrive as a direct result of this? Where's the goodness here? And you're not always just be positive, be positive. Don't do that. Right? If we're sitting on a sad bench, we're sad. Be sad, be okay with it. Sad is happening because you know that your kid has what it takes to get through it. So if your athlete is struggling actively with a mental block, obviously I know your pain. I've been there personally. I've seen thousands of kids struggle and helped thousands of parents get through it. And the solution looks nothing like the problem. So that's why I put together a free training just for parents on how to help your kid get their confidence back this summer. So if you are in the struggle, please check that out. It's going to be at completeperformancecoaching.com/free. Would love to have you there. And just make sure that you have a community where you can talk about what's going on that isn't your athlete, so that you can off-gas your feelings. So you have people to sit on your bench with you, the My Kid's Sad bench, whether it's a partner or a friend. Don't make it be your kid, right? That has to keep you company on that bench. You are their rock. Make sure you've got your rock too, that you've got your people who you can go to that can get you through it. So thanks for listening. If you guys have any questions, I would love to hear them. You are welcome to email me, Rebecca@PerformHappy.com. Be happy to do this. I go live Tuesdays at 5:00 p.m. Pacific time on the Complete Performance Coaching Facebook page. So hop on with me live, ask questions, and I will see you around soon. Thanks, everybody.